Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a special rogue build. That's right, this time we had lots of requests to try different things and want to go rogue. So what makes us a rogue? It's dodge chances. If you think about it, a rogue is here to evade attacks, and currently we're sitting on 0 block. We're sitting on 82% dodge chances. So if I press my special skill, which gives me 83.8, when I dodge with my passive, which I'll show you guys here. So this particular perk here, the coveted operative, means if I don't dodge one attack, the next attack is going to give me 100% dodge chances. That takes me to at least 85%. And why do I say this is an immortal rogue build? Is that you're dodging so often, and when you're dodging, you're not taking any of the damage. You can dodge AoEs, you can dodge everything, and when you don't dodge, you increase your dodge chance. So you might say, hey, won't you get one-shotted if you don't dodge? Yes, this is when the Brandon Burst comes in. You have 10 points, which gives you 100% damage reduction for the first hit and 80% for the second hit. If you're mobile enough, yes, this is a rogue build, you have to be mobile. If you're mobile enough, you won't take damage, because the first hit you're immune, second hit you dodge, third hit you take 80% less damage, while the third hit you should be avoiding the hits after the third hit. But what happens if you don't avoid the hits? Well, I have something planned for you guys as well. This is my favorite talent as defensive talent, with the salvatory anchor. Basically, different equipments give you different specialties. This one, we're going for the rogue gears, and rogue gears give us regeneration to life and also force shield. This might not seem much, and I don't have a good item for them, and it's already very powerful. So what happens is, when I dodge, I get 2 times the stats of HP on the gear, on the helmet, and on the chest, and that is regen onto health and force shield. This might not seem a lot, right? Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you very soon. So we had a request on a friend to test on the level 187. You can see that I'm actually healing, I'm not healing. So it's a little harder to regain your balance with level 187 because, well, I'm still getting attacked. But you notice I'm still regening. I need better items to make sure I don't die here, to make it more immortal. I'll explain the item and theory crafting for that. Of course, you won't be standing here, you'll be live stealing, right? Yeah, this is the highest level dungeon here. Level 187. So we're into the dungeon now, and this is a level 115 dungeon. Previously, when I was testing the build, this was the highest level of dungeon I was able to test. Later, I eventually unlocked more builds, and I will get more save files, so we'll test higher level dungeons. So why do I say this is an immortal build? Before I even show the skills or show anything, I'm just going to run forward, guys. And I'll show you guys what happens. So the monsters are 115. I mean, they're not the strongest, of course, but I can stand here. I can stand here, and they can't hit me. And the moment they hit me, what happens is I instantly regen about 5,000 shield, I instantly regen about 5,000 HP. So I'm regening basic 10,000 shield and HP when I dodge. And this is before I lifesteal, before I buff anything. This is before anything. And it's pretty interesting. I'm sure none of us will be standing here, you know, just letting them hitting us, right? And the skill choices are not the biggest fun part about this, it's just the perks and the builds and the talents. So I'll quickly kill a few. Yeah, I made it a special rogue talent kind of, so it is still bleeding edge because it hits the hardest, but this is very mobile, and you're not here to like face tank and spin to win, but rather you are skill shotting, because here, those skill shots, I'm a flying axe rogue. I don't circle around me, and I cast Freeze Nova because this actually debuffs them. This is not to abuse, just to debuff. And lastly, I know I go invisible, I death mark them, and I do shout for just a bit of lifesteal. And yeah, this gets very interesting. Let's quickly go through the skills. The other jump is willpower dump, so basically we'll dump it over to my rage. This will have almost lots of rage, then we'll dump it back, and we'll repeat, so it's very mobile. And this is why I say it's immortal, because you're moving. You're not just standing there getting attacked. Second to that, Winter's Grasp does not freeze them. It's just status and curse debuff them. Increase the damage taken. Next up, we have the Shout. Shout gives us everyone weakness around us, so they do less damage to us. Increase crit chance, 7% lifesteal is the biggest one. Movement and also attack speed. Next up, we have the Mark of Impunity. I did not use this belt which auto applies it, so I'm currently hand applying it. Because, there's other belts that gives better stats. This one gives incredible stats. I'm using this one for now. But you can use this one for auto debuff, or just any of the belts will do. This basically gives us potential to do 5 million damage in a few seconds, or in 1 or 2 seconds. Next up, as a rogue, you want to be elusive. You go invisible almost every 3 seconds, and the cooldown is 3.9 seconds. It can definitely go lower. When we go invisible, everyone gets a curse buff, and we move very fast. And together with double movement speed, we run really fast. So basically, we're invisible rogue. And that's not all. You can be rolling, of course, and you can be going invisible. Lastly, as a skill shot rogue, I don't favor the axis that goes around me. I want axis that actually, you know, flies. I want to be skill shotting, and I want to be mobile. So this is why my axis actually fly, and I can choose where the location they go. It is a little costly because I don't have enough items that reduces my rage spend. So let's go further. Let's see how it goes. So yes, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you guys the whole perk after. So basically what we do is you can group them up, you can debuff them. Oh, don't have enough. So basically you debuff them, just spin them and they die. And yeah, doesn't matter if you get caught because you can't really do anything to you. When they attack you, you instantly regen more than what they can attack. So this is a boss master. Let's see how he fares with us. I can stand where he hits. And no, I'm actually dying, so it's better cast a few things. I can stand there. I can try to stand on the fire. Should be dodging them. And he'll have like what, 3 million, 2 million HP? He died so quickly. So the build has damage, the build is very elusive. And I'll show you guys the dodge rates. So basically we can stand in front of them. The dodge chances give us to 85.5%. So the idea is, yes, the immortal part comes with control. It's not that I can face tech everything, but the control is very good in the sense that you are actually playing a game that's very mobile. You're playing a rogue. This is what my initial idea is. I don't want you to play warrior or mage. This is mainly a for rogue. Yes, the mage part comes in with the spells, but why do I have a catalyst? I had a tank. I'm just gonna stand there to show you how tanky I am. I'm gonna stand here. I'll find more often before I talk. I'm gonna stand here. See now? We'll find a little more. I'm gonna stand where the dudes are. I'm gonna stand here. So the immortal part comes from the dodge chances. I'm gonna circle. So yeah, the dodge chances will get the 3 additional sockets for the catalyst for more socket. And if there's more sockets, we get more dodge chances. And that's what stacks up it. And look at this. How does the controller... So, how does it control? It controls pretty nicely. And you're very mobile. Because you're always exchanging resource, you're always moving. Ooh, big monsters. Let's see how we fare with those. So those are golden monsters. I'm gonna stand in front of them. Let's see if I die. I hope I don't die. This will be for science. Hey, I tank them. I'm not actually spending lifesteal. Usually I lifesteal a lot. So this is before you actually lifesteal. So I'm tanking 115 monsters. I won't say it's like 100% immortal because those are not high level monsters. But the same idea applies to high level monsters when you have better gears. My gear is by far not the strongest. I just bought them from the shop and I crafted for about 2 hours, actually 1 hour at least. 1 to 2 hours, I crafted into base stats for the level 90 gears, and that's what they are. Yeah, and there's so much to be improved on this build. Let's see how much damage we do. It's hard to tell damage on this guy. You get back here. You get back here. No, he's not coming back, is he? Pressing my keys, because I didn't remember my keys. I got him. Oh, I got that. I got the boots. I'll have these boots in the inventory for you guys. Yeah, you can see a lot of crafting. Those are the crafting down while I was crafting. Oh, look, fire. We stand in fire. We don't die. But yes, I did test it. In the final bosses, when they actually have a massive cast spell, you can get one-shotted potentially if you just stand there and you don't heal. But if you're life-stealing, you usually don't get one-shotted. You can still get one-shotted by boss. Because I actually packed everything into ferocity, which I don't recommend doing that. Because I'm so durable as a rogue. I want to be roguelike, right? I want to have 1000 ferocity. AFK mid dungeon mid? Yeah, that's the fun part. It's like, guys, I'm gonna go offline and I'm gonna stand here. Yeah, I'll be standing here for a while. We should be going back and showing the build, guys. They're actually casting a lot of things on us. This is before I perfect the stats on the gears. I can double the regen if I had better stats. Okay, this is chilling. Let me finish them. Yeah, this is about 1.3 million then HP monster. We do some tons of damage too. And we're mobile. And the critical chances, well, if you scream and if you go far, if you go for D, my critical chance is about 59% if you have both of the buffs on. It's a little lower if you don't have them on, But if you have both of them on, you do pretty decent critical chance and critical damage. So let's look into this different rogue playstyle. Firstly, the attributes. I wouldn't recommend going this high in ferocity. Yes, you get more attack, but rather you might want a bit of 1 HP because, you know, sometimes if things one-shots you, then dodge and recovery won't do much. So what I recommend is reset your points, and I'll show you guys a reset trick if you didn't see it on the last one. You can hold down Control to gain 50 points a click. You can hold down Shift to get 5 points a click. You can hold down Control and Shift to get 250 points a click. I'm thinking about 8000 HP for this one. And after that, I'm thinking of adding everything to ferocity, and this should work. Didn't lose that much damage and much durable. So before I was on 60k, now I'm on 80k. And this means, well, more room to play around. I can even get some potions, I can get more heals. You know, every few seconds, every 3.9 seconds, we can go invisible for 3 seconds. That, you know, takes enemies distraction, give us time to recover the tender points, and make us stronger. Let's go into the next part. This build is going to be focusing on gearing and also on your choice of talent trait, which we'll focus now. After that, we'll look into the skills, which are very optional. Any of the skills can work, just something basic, because the major factor of the gears here. I explained earlier I went for Catalyst because this allows me to socket at least 2 or 3 of the Dodge Chance gems. You can see that I was very fortunate to roll all the sockets into Dodge Chance, and it's 35 here, triple 35 here, and also 35 here. Those are the highest dodge chances, and if I get one more here, my dodge can go anywhere. I'm currently sitting on 85% if I have everything on, so when enemy hits me I get to 85%. Likely I get close to 90%, not just with this but with better gears. So with the gears, I simply crafted a few gears with some decent dodge chance. Usually you get over 350 dodge chance with legendary gears at level 130 plus. But as a testing account, I can't find it. So what I found was I just crafted 290 here, crafted 209, 229, 258. So those are the dodge chances I'm looking at. 229, here I got 259, and lastly we got 261. So not the strongest dodge chance. People have theory crafted the forum I was reading, the Chinese forum. My friend actually found it for me. So people have theory crafted you can get close to 90 or plus dodge chance. But it's not that necessary, because once you go over 80, you're pretty much immortal with the combination of the branded burst. First attack, you usually dodge them. If you don't dodge, you take 0 damage. Then you're guaranteed to dodge the second attack because of this perk that gives you more evasion. Well, not guaranteed, but really high chance, right? After that, if you don't dodge the third attack, you get hit again and you reduce damage by 80%. Then you're guaranteed to dodge the fourth attack. And this repeats. I'm sure after 3 attacks, you'll be pressing D and going invisible. And if you're going invisible, usually it saves you. And you'll be lifestealing a lot. Choice of the perks. So after looking at it, we want flat stats with ferocity. We want flat stats with the toughness if we can. This gives us damage, critical chance, or HP. And this is actually the best value for everything. We also want a bit of cooldown, but not a lot, because the only thing that uses cooldown is pretty much the shot. That doesn't require much. And also the Dusk Shroud, which is the difference between 4.5 and 3 seconds. So cooldown's okay. Ideally you want as much stats as you can, because that's where you'll be doing more damage with critical chance and also having enough HP to survive. The biggest factor here are going to be the helmet and the chest. The helmet is a rogue helmet, and also the chest is a rogue chest. I spoke earlier about the talent tree, so having both of the helmet and the chest on a rogue, this gives us 2 times the health and shield regen on the number of health on the equipment. So what that means is I'm looking at 1400 health and shield regen each time I dodge. I not dodge like 10 times every second if there's lots of monsters. So infinite regen with those 2. This one gives us at least 3000 HP, 3000 shield regen. So you want at least about 7,000 or maybe 10,000 shield, not that much, because you will eventually get more shield with your different perks and also your toughness. So together with those 2, I'm looking at close to 5,000 shield regen and 5,000 HP regen per dodge. So that means, well, if hits don't hit very hard, they heal you. Those items are not perfect. Those items can roll for more toughness, more HP on this item. So I'm looking at about 2,500 or 3,000 on the chest. Looking at about 1,500 on the helmet as health in the late game. And this will give us close to 10,000 regen on both shield and also on HP for 1 dodge. and you'll be dodging so many times. After that, the attack speed our friend mentioned earlier with us, he said about attack speed. Attack speed means you cast your attack spells faster. Not a big factor, because regardless if I cast it fast or not, I get it out because it's a dagger, it's usually pretty fast. I didn't bother to roll too many stats. The good stats here were just ferocity and dodge. I didn't go further because it's a testing account. But what you want is you want some resistance. One thing about this Immortal build is there's so much room for improvement. I'm currently sitting on 0 resistance. If I have, I'm actually minus resistance. If I have any resistance, that gets multiplied, and that makes me tankier. Just happens I can't roll any resistance here because I was just rushing for dodge. If I had any resistance, that would reduce damage by at least 20 or 30%, and then that reflects back, so I won't be dying as much because there's no more one shot. I can regen everything back with massive heals. So yeah, funny enough, you want to get a bit of resistance on those if you can, but not necessary. The biggest factor is still the raw stats. A bit of the reduction to resource may be good because it's actually costing me a lot to cast Bleeding Edge. That's the only downside. And you know, other than that, it's very flexible. You just want high dodge chance and at least 2 other good stats. Attack speed just happens to be here. I can't stop it, it's everywhere. And yeah, here we have a bit of the dodge chance. Transfer time reduction is actually pretty nice. So the plus transfer time reduction, because as a catalyst, it actually punishes you for using the catalyst, because minus 73% transfer time means you get a big black bar here. How to move this black bar is you have all of your sockets into the transfer time reduction, and this will take away that bar very quickly. In terms of my range, just flat HP. Here, just for HP. You even have a occult damage here, nothing too special. I didn't really craft those. In terms of the amulets and the belt, you should look out for physical damage, because as a flying axe rogue, you do a majority of physical damage. You can go for something else, you know, HP, critical chance, but I feel those are the best value for money. If you look at it, I'm currently on currently on 12k damage. If I take the belt off, I'm on 900. So this belt alone give me 3k damage. This amulet alone gave me about 1.5k damage. So that's the difference of flat damage here. As for weapon and also for the catalyst, nothing too special. And yes, if you guys want the detail of this one, download the save file from our Discord channel, which there's instruction pinned in the Wolcen category as well. So check out the video if you want to know how to download the save file and how to paste it. And after download it, you can see everything that's available on the account in more detail. With the catalyst, why catalyst? Well, we can dodge, and we get more dodge chances. And on top of that, the catalyst give you some really good debuff chances. Because we don't have anything into wisdom, we still want chances of debuff. Here, although the curse chance is 100%, status is only 17%, but if you don't have the catalyst, status goes to 6.2%. So notice there's a massive difference having the catalyst or not if you rolled into the debuff chances. Because I have decent kind of, actually my material chance is not that much, but I actually do a lot of bleeding edge, so I'm actually focused on my status debuffs, and this gives me more damage. This also allows you to do cast mage spells. And the shadow damage here and also the spell damage to added damage allowed me to have curses and also added damage. If you have on a belt or have on the amulet, you can socket all 3 of the attack gems for more damage. That works as well. You do want the shadow damage on the spells and shadow damage and added damage here to be able to debuff enemy with all sorts of debuff for the status, curse, and you know, here you have bleeding and poison, so you have a bunch of debuffs. Other than that, items, those are pretty much here, and nothing to go from there. It's just a bunch of the dodge chances, and once you get over 80% dodge chance, you should feel somewhat immortal once you have a decent piece of HP gear with rogue, and this is what really helps us to survive. So next part of the guide, what we'll do is we'll look into the talent tree. This is the fun part. I will do an overview of the talent tree, then I'll do 2 parts. I'll have this ready for you guys to be downloaded, and also, you know, I'll have a level 75 talent tree that's on the internet. I'll be adding that to the video as well, so this way you can see level 75, where to go from there, and also after that level 90. A lot of the perks are not necessary here. Those are the ideas that was great initially, but when I tried it out, you don't need that many perks here, but a lot of good stuff. So initially, there is going to be this perk, Coveted Operative, which you can get very early to give you more dodge chances. Notice this is not 100% dodge, it adds to your existing dodge score. So the higher score you have on your gears, the better this is. After that, there's a lot of little nice perks that gives you dodge chances. Again, those depends on your dodge score. Better gears you have, the stronger you are. We can also look towards here with another 15% dodge, 25% dodge, 15% dodge, and a bit of dodge here. There is always small dodge knots which you can find within the perks. Here we have 12%, here we had 12%, and sometimes even here we got 15, we got 25, we got the 15%. So a lot of small dodge knots. And after those little dodge knots, what you really want to look for is you want to get your damage out. The ways we get our damage out is from status and also with debuff enemies. So status is one of our multipliers. After that, we also have the rage multiplier. The downside is I couldn't get low enough rage spender, so my rage, my bleeding edge was actually costing me 495, which is very expensive. So I'm actually hoping to cost about 300 when I get enough reduction to cost, and this will give me better multipliers for double damage. Not necessary though. So this is one of the optional branch we can remove. And we also have a multiplier here, which initially it's a great idea until I became immortal and I stopped to be so careful. As a rogue, you should be cold-blooded, you should be careful, you don't let people see you. But here we're like a face tank rogue. So this is not necessary because I just let them attack me, I just dodged it and I recover life. So you don't get the cold-blooded stacks, and all of those are not that useful. Only dodge is okay, but you don't lose that much here. So you don't need all those points. After that, because you are status debuff rogue, you'll be getting the additional one set of elements. You'll be getting the 2 max 5 plus here. For the additional elements, you'll be getting the 2 max 5 plus here, and also you'll be getting, after killing enemy with status, you do more damage. So this is one of the factors you can do damage. The other factors will be with your critical chance. Here's the critical rate score, and also here's the critical hit damage. After that, the biggest point is, we spoke about this, you have to wear rogue armors because this benefits you so much to tank as a rogue. Because you have a lot of rage spender and rage things, you can consider getting the rage perk. Where is it? This is the one. So unspent rage, you have more damage, but the downside is I didn't have enough rage to reserve, so this wasn't a biggest factor. So this is optional as well, those two. This is actually good, so I actually took this one for 35 rage on kill. After that, I was short on rage and willpower, so I went for 400 of that. Not bad of a pickup. So overall, this might seem a little overwhelming, and it's actually not a level 90 build. Let's go into the level 75 tree. Let's have a look at that. So here we are with the tree of the perks I perked out for the dodge perks at level 75, and I'll be sharing this onto YouTube with you guys. So as you can see, what I mentioned earlier, I forgot to mention about the dire structure, which avoids us being one-shotted. I mentioned earlier about the branded burst. Those are the 2 defensive ones to stop us getting killed, and those 2 are pretty good enough, and with enough life recovery from dodges, this keeps us alive. You can see that a majority of the good things I mentioned earlier are still getting perked out. The debuffs, additional debuffs, increased damage, critical chance, debuff. I'm missing a small knot here, I'm missing a small dot here for the dodge chance. I'm missing a little bit over the place. I did not take the cold blood side, and that's not that great. And on top of that, I didn't take the double rage because I wasn't having enough rage. So this is the 75 perks. Now if you don't think you can make the 75, if you're looking for 70, you can remove this one because it's a nice one, but it's not necessary. You can remove those. You can just keep removing them because they're just parting here for more dodge. You should be looking at about 70% dodge at this interval, around 75. And as a fine rogue build, 70 is okay. But when you get to 80, that's where the fun starts, right? So you do want to consider more dodges. But if you're on shorter damage, so what you want to do is you want to look for more damage. There are a few ways to look for damage. Ideally, the small perks here sometimes increase damage when the enemy is far away, sometimes increase the damage when enemy is close by, and sometimes increase damage when enemy is slowed. Those things you can look for. And there's also perks like those. Where are they? Where are they? It's over here. Perks like those, when there's only one enemy nearby. Those are one-drop perks that gives you 25% damage. Not the biggest factor, but it can help you with damage. So it's the balance between survivability and damage. For survival, for survival, you can look towards the perks for dodges, you can look towards more perks here, and the force shield is not bad because we will regen force shield. So having a high force shield gives us instant recovery of force shield when we dodge. Each time we dodge, we regain force shield and life, and it gets a little silly, especially at the low levels. You can face tank bosses at low levels as well. Below 90, I can face tank everything. for the details of the level 90 trait, I'll have this for you guys onto the save file as well, and this is stayed over here as a screenshot. You can easily perk into this, but I wouldn't recommend going for the Cold Blood because I'm trying to be an Immortal Rogue. Initially I was like, I'm a Dodge Rogue, I don't get hit. Then I was like, I don't care no more. So that's the fact, and this is optional as well because you might not have the Rage for it. So very flexible trait here, and it's up to you how you fix it and how you adjust for it. The best part is the talents here are optional. You can go for almost anything here. The fact is you want a rage spender that spends for damage, and you want a spell spender that debuffs enemy. The next part is go for mobility, go for additional damage, and go for survivability, and just a bit of awesomeness with buffs. So those happen to be effective for me, and I feel this is the best part because we'll be looking into the Bleeding Edge first. I'm sure some of us have gotten a little sick of Bleeding Edge, and it just gets around you, you know, it spins and that's all. So here I perked the Bleeding Edge a little bit to make a Flying Axe Rogue. So now I'm a skill shot. I no longer just spin to win, I actually have to aim, I have to debuff, and I run around. So the part is I'm still getting the projectile speed, which increase damage. Also I'm getting the cast location. This is purely for the fun fact I'm an axe throwing rogue. I don't go close to the enemy, I actually stay far from them. After that I'm getting the rage cost because it's actually quite costly for the rage. I can go for the damage though if I don't care about the rage, which is also works because I crit quite a lot. So also I can go for a bit of the elements, which I don't really need that. Weapon damage is not that good, so always go for critical damage if you can. Just here for the rage because I'm a little short on rage. This is the biggest one for damage because it keeps spinning on the location, and lastly this is the multiplier for damage with elements. So this allows me to spin, and one spin gives me enough spells to cast multiples of my debuff. The second one we'll look at is the Winter Scraps. This skill is currently a little strong because it's supposed to have a cooldown, but it's not having a cooldown. I think that's what I heard, because it's at 0.8 but it goes to no cooldown. And because there's no cooldown, people use it for AoE freeze, AoE things. Here, in order to not abuse it too much, I'm only using it for AoE debuffs. So what I do is, I cast my axe, I debuff, cast my axe, I debuff. And this debuff gives a status and also curse, which increase enemy damage taken. This is something nice. Now if you don't want to go Winter Scraps, you can go something that's more standard and that's a little more flexible. Now the only downside is that this one have a CD. So anomaly, I'm sure you have heard of anomaly. So basically you cast a black hole and you suck enemies in, and you can cast it twice. It's pretty cool. I also have increased movement speed while I'm in the anomaly. The downside is it does have a CD, so I can't continue to cast it to guarantee I debuff enemy with status. And it's not 100% debuff. So for this one we get 100% debuff. So you can see the 100% curse debuff. Not a long duration though. Now after we look at Bleeding Edge, after we look at this one, so those are the perks, minus cooldown, we go for 100% debuff, increased range and allows you to cast it anywhere. After that, element chances and also the increased area. So after those two, so basically you just spam, you move around, and it gets a little interesting. Because all of a sudden you feel like a rogue mage caster. So when you have too much willpower, this is the dump of willpower. You can leave a clone, you can debuff enemies with a bunch of status, you can reduce cooldown and you can continue to cast it and actually dump your willpower quicker. You can increase attack speed and movement speed. So when I have too much, I just fly. And this makes you mobile as well. This also gives you time to regenerate your branded burst so you don't get one-shotted. I'll just, recover. When you have enough recovery, you just cast around, make yourself flexible, and you're gonna debuff, you debuff. Now, the next up is what to do with massive HP bosses. The bosses that's over, 100 million HP, 150 million HP. This is one of your best friend because this gives them 10 stacks of curse, which increase the damage taken, lots of vulnerability, and increases your damage, a lot of good stuff. And this, if you don't use the belt that gives you auto debuff, you can use this to spread around. This also uses greatly for wave clear. So I usually don't even press it because the monsters die very quickly. With a boss, I just press it once or twice, they actually die really quickly. As a rogue and a particular rogue type of gameplay, I actually favor the Dusk Shroud. What's not said here anyway here is that Dusk Shroud actually gives us a lot of critical chances. So let's look at our critical chances. It doesn't say anywhere here, only 44%, so if I press it, I go to 53%. So about 9% of critical chance came from this one skill. and I can repeat this every 3 seconds. This also reduces threat, takes me away from enemies and they stop hitting me, and I move faster. Great for everything. Also a small rage spender, which is not bad. What I perked here is nothing too special. I want to increase dodge chance, of course, as a rogue. After that, I can give them curse, and this is optional. I do want to increase reaction for sure. I want to increase movement speed, so I move faster as a rogue. Lower cooldown, which is great because I don't have all the cooldown gears for this one. And I get a force shield when I drop this. So it goes back to the immortal part. You want to be hard to kill, very elusive, and very regenerative. Lastly, shadow damage after dropping a smoke, just something I thought I'd give it a try. Nothing too special. You can go for quad control elements, or you can go for the lower reach cost. And this is the optional one. I've seen people consider other spells like the Ballhawk of Dawn for defensive and regen and debuff purpose. I've seen people considering the other rogue spells, even as an anomaly, even for the little turn auto taunt, and sometimes they even go for the AoE buff or maybe a light bringer for the blink, but we already have a blink, so sometimes they go for plague burst for more debuff. For me, I like to save some perks with myself with the lifesteal, so this gives me 7% lifesteal, and that's a big factor. After that, we increase critical chance, we get the movement speed, we also get the bit of debuff. I don't go for the resistance, not because I don't want it, because I actually didn't find any resistance on my gears. If you recall, we're sitting on 0 resistance, and without resistance, it doesn't multiply. With resistance, they multiply, because it's a percentage. I want to get this one. Now, if you're looking for a tankier rogue, you can make a block rogue while you're evasion, while you have the dodges. So what this allows you to do is, if you perk yourself out, which is actually very close, because we're very next to it. Where is it? This is one. So if you perk yourself into 2 points here, 6% block and 20% block efficiency, then you use the spell over here for the 15% block, all of a sudden you're looking at 21% block and also 18% block efficiency. That effectively reduces damage by at least 20%, 10%, and reduces by something. And then if you go further to debuff enemies with weakness and go more weakness and more block, you become a block dodge rogue, which is very optional. So I haven't tried into that. I went for more damage here, that's not good. And this is not that great as well. Now, this shows the general part of the rogue. There is definitely great potential because if you look at these shoes and if you look at those shoes over here, all of a sudden you see those shoes can have lots of stats because they're legendaries. If you go to level 130 plus legendaries, you get at least 4 of 6 stats, and this is when the dodge won't be affecting your major stats, and this will be adding towards your defensive capacities in an endgame. Because in the endgame you might go for dodge chance, you might go for block rate, resistance, HP. This gives you another threshold to reduce damage taken and make every build stronger if you consider going for a bit of roguelike. So hopefully you guys enjoy this build, and I had some great fun building it, I had some great fun testing it. You can still go for the Fury Axe here, just spin it around you. Here I can just make it spin around me, actually. Where is it? So I can go for this, instead of the location, I can go for here, and all of a sudden it's gonna spin around me. Yeah, I can still go for this as a Fury Rogue, but what's the fun of that, right? I mean, it's easy, but here we want some challenge, so I actually make the location up, and we'll make both location up. So actually like a range axe throwing rogue. Here it is, and if you guys like this build, I'll be posting more builds and more guides as I work hard on them during my offline times, and I'm checking different forums, different ideas, and usually I try to not copy people's idea, but rather I want to take the essence of it and build around it. The essence here I took is about evasion with branded burst, and also the fact you can regen health with this whole combination of gears. Everything else will build on top of that. Thank you again so much for watching, guys. If you like this one, please subscribe onto YouTube, leave a like and leave a nice comment if you're free. Also say hi on Twitch if you can. If you also have your Twitch Prime, feel free to support us on Twitch, that'll be a massive help. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.